Well, here we are. We are 1 week into the new year, and we are talking about the Epiphany, even though on our church calendar it was on Saturday. I think it's important to have a little bit about the Feast of the Epiphany because it's the non Jewish people who have a purpose. They set out to go on a journey to find this newborn king, and the marvelous thing is that this great light in the sky has just come up, and they're following it, following it, following, and they know that it's their purpose is to get to this newborn king, and they want to gift this newborn king with some treasures from their country. They have set out, they are following this mysterious light that is leading them. Now we know that because of the gospel reading in Matthew, there's something about the timing. It has taken a while for these astrologers, these magi, these wise kings, these people, to follow that light and to determine exactly how they are going to find this newborn king. So they're following the light, and the light is leading them, and all of a sudden, sometimes it disappears. It comes and it goes. So they say, well, if a king is going to be born, of course the king is going to be born in Jerusalem. That's the capital city. So they go. They go to the city, and they go to King Herod. And when they go to King Herod, they say, we are seeking the newborn king. Now, Herod is king. Do you think he's happy about hearing the newborn king? Of course he's not. But he's a devious kind of personality, isn't he? We know he's not a good king. We know that he is later going to set out to kill anybody that could be in the line of the kingship, to take over his reign, his power. So these people have come from modern day Iraq, over in that area in the Middle East. They have traveled a long distance, and they're following. And then finally, Herod comes out and he says, well, I've contacted my learned men, the people who are the scholars, and they say that from the book of Micah, it says that the newborn king shall be born in Bethlehem. So off they decide to go to Bethlehem, which is like a suburb of Jerusalem. And we've seen it on the news lately. We know exactly where it is. We know it's a walled city now. We know that at Christmas, no church services were being held there because everything is being destroyed. But there they go. And they are there with a purpose. They want to find the newborn king. They are following the light. They go to the house, as the gospel text of Matthew says. Now, the gospel text of Matthew is very explicit to tell this story for whatever reason. You may have an idea of what the reason of why it shows up in Matthew and it doesn't show up in Luke, who has the other birth story, but I kind of think that Matthew, I think maybe Martin Luther was right on this. I think Matthew is trying to say, you need to go back to the scriptures to find answers to some things. So that's what happens. They go to Jerusalem. Herod goes to his learned men. The men say that because of the prophet Micah, it says it's going to be in Bethlehem. And so they follow on and they go to Bethlehem. Now remember, they have a purpose and a plan, and they're following a light. Their intent is to go and find the newborn king and present him with gifts. How fortunate it is when people have the ability to gift other people. It could be gifting something they really believe in. It could be gifting their church. It could be gifting who knows what. But how privileged we are when we are in the position to actually give gifts. And so we say that there were three. We don't know that there were three, but we just know that there were three gifts. There could have been a whole bunch of people in a caravan that all came at one time. There could have been women and men. We just don't know. All we know is the gospel text of Matthew says we need to refer to the scriptures to find our answers. And so that's what they did. And then they go to the house and they present the gifts to the new parents. Now, those gifts seems really strange for somebody who's, certainly not of a wealthy background. Frankincense, myrrh, gold. But that's what they had, and so that's what they presented. So at this time of year, when we're talking about all the lights and everything that has gone on up until this time, and unfortunately, so many people have their lights and trees already out. Everything's gone, put away. It's like Christmas has been there and done, and we haven't even reached the Epiphany yet, when the kings, or whoever they are, the magi, the astrologers, when they come to visit this newborn. So the newborn is probably not a newborn anymore, but a toddler. But they go and they find the Holy Family and they present gifts. If we could look at the possibility that we have of gifting people out of our resources, out of all that we have, all of the graces and blessings that we've been given, we learn that, yes, when we really, really, really believe in something, we do all we can to keep it going. We do all we can to make sure that it survives, because we gift with our time and our talent and our treasure. We gift in order to preserve something that we believe so strongly in. So we remember, prior to Christmas, probably right after Halloween, certainly before Thanksgiving, everybody was busy putting up the lights that represent the light of Christ, the light that comes into the world. Some people might have got really tired of having their wife maybe saying, we need to decorate here, decorate there, get the lights there, get the lights there. But the light is so important at this time of year, and we remember that the light starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter right now. We've already had the darkest day of the year, and now we're moving more and more into the light, into the light, into the light, until we're going to move into Lent, and to Easter, and to Pentecost, when the light is the brightest. And so seasonally, our scriptures actually tie us in with the light of the world being born in Bethlehem, and the gifts that were presented because somebody had a strong belief in why that family had to survive, why that had to keep on keeping on. And so they supported and they presented gifts. We have opportunities. We have opportunities like that. And I dare to say that a lot of people who are onliners in so many different directions, they forget that they should be gifting those programs, those church programs that they watch on a regular basis, because they are in a position to help in some way, shape, or form. If they want it to keep on going, they support. And so we think of the Epiphany as the manifestation of God to the rest of the world, not just the Jewish people, but to the rest of the world. And it became so important for the rest of the world, the people, to come and find that light, that they presented gifts. So think about that when you are considering a Sunday offering, whether it's your church online, whether it's your church in person, and make sure that you invite people to come, because so many seekers are out there and they don't know that the only way that that void in their heart is going to be filled is with the light of Christ. And the people said, Amen.